That was beautiful, Lorena. Thank you. Robert encouraged her and kissed her with a tender heart full of fatherly love. Your little brother is going to love to hear you sing. She beamed at her father's words. Lorena stayed cozied in her father's warmth, and they sat together talking about what Lorena was going to have for breakfast and about what other songs she could sing to her brother, and she listed everything that she would do until it was time for Robert to leave. Well, little Earth Angel, I gotta get going. I'm sure I have to wake up your Uncle Isk. He's never on time for anything. Robert stood from his seat and placed Lorena upon it. He took the sweater and pulled it over his head and grabbed his jacket off the coat rack. He knelt down to hug and kiss his daughter, and then closed the door behind him. The air bit Robert's cheeks as he walked outside his home. The grass, dead and frozen, crunched as he moved towards the wooden barn. He removed the bolt that locked the massive doors and slowly pulled them open. The yellow lights glowed on the sides of each stall, and the horses stirred towards Robert. "Good morning, Amsterdam." He kissed the white horse on his face. "We're headed to a Iscariot today. What do you want to eat? Oats and barley?" Robert asked the horse, pulling the lever that was next to the stall, and the food funneled through into a steel trough. Amsterdam began to eat and then looked back at Robert. "Oh, you're thirsty too. No need for the death stare, boy." He pushed the blue button that was next to the lever, and water flowed into a separate opening attached to the horse's quarters. He moved over to the next compartment, where another horse awaited him. "Hey, Beauty, how you doing, girl?" He rubbed her face and fed her a carrot that was stored in a bin next to the stall. "Don't tell Amsterdam I gave you that. He'll be as stubborn as a mule. You're coming on this trip too, girl. Unfortunately, you'll be carrying my brother for our journey." Robert spoke to the horse as if it understood him. The horse snorted, and Robert chuckled to himself. "I know, he's just the worst, isn't he?" After Robert was done chatting with the giant beasts, he moved to the platform at the back of the barn, kicked a pedal at the base of it from off to on, and the stage floated up to the second floor. The soft yellow light beamed down from the ceiling, showcasing 5 vehicles that were circled on a rotating frame. Robert bypassed the cars, and tucked away in the back of the barn on the upper level, he pulled out a dark brown wooden sleigh with carbon fibre skis and white trim. He lowered himself back down the shaft and pulled Amsterdam and Beauty from their stalls. He linked the reins to the horses, attached the sled, and piled his gear onto it. Robert took his position on the sleigh, flicked the switch on the dash, and the sleigh began to float. He snapped his wrist and whistled to the 2 horses, and in the morning light they trotted off into the wilderness of the world. The air was still fiercely cold as Robert approached his brother's massive stone-walled country home. He exited the sleigh and knocked on Iscariot's door. He waited for what seemed like a lifetime and began to get slightly agitated. His brother, still in a daze, pants partially on, and a sweater hanging around his neck, opened the door. "I'm almost ready," Iscariot said tiredly. "Yes, I can see," Robert said, raising his eyebrows and rolling his bright green eyes. "I'm really looking forward to not eating anything for the next 7 days," Iscariot joked in his scratchy morning voice. "Sounds like a real thrill." "Stop your crying, Isk. It's the least we can do for our children." Robert spoke of his unborn. "Not eating shouldn't be one of them. Do you have everything?" "I think I should be asking you that." "Of course I do. Let's get going then, shall we?" Iscariot buttoned his jacket, donned a hat to cover his ears, wrapped a grey wool scarf around his neck, and walked out the door. How laughable, Robert thought to himself, as if he were the one running late. They piled on the remaining gear they needed for their excursion, and the 2 men boarded the sled and began their journey to Iscariot, the River of Life. It wasn't an hour into their trip when Robert looked to his right and saw his brother sleeping with his arms folded and head back against the sleigh. In his boredom, Robert piled items onto his brother, eventually covering all but his face. He felt rather proud of his playful accomplishment. The sun had hit its peak and struck its rays upon the earth. Iscariot woke with countless items upon his body. Robert only knew Iscariot had come up from his slumber when he received some harsh words from his adoring brother, to which he laughed heartily. "You're a real pain, Robert," Iscariot said while trying not to have the countless items fall off his body. "What else are brothers for?" Robert chuckled. Slowly and carefully, the items were placed back into their packs. When all that was upon Iscariot was packed away, he poured some tea from his thermos. "Not that you deserve any tea, but would you like any?" "No, I'm quite all right. How was your sleep?" "By the sound of it, it seemed like it was very restful," said Robert. "Oh, I was just dreaming of past battles we've fought. How I single-handedly struck down 2 anthropoid beasts along with the disgusting Hemithioid soldiers that rode them, and of when I commanded an entire pride of men at the Battle of Hafnung and turned the war into our allies' favor. Reminiscing of the glories of the recent past that have made me the fastest-ranking general in the history of our country," Iscariot answered boastfully. "Dreaming of the war sounds more like a nightmare to me. Good men lost, brave till the bitter end. The families these soldiers left behind. Fatherless sons and daughters, widowed young women. Parents saying goodbye as they lower their child into the ground. May we never see anything like it again." Robert spoke with sadness. "No need to get all melancholy, Robert." You're right. We have 2 little boys coming to our family soon. Have you and Anna thought of a name yet?" "We have. His name is Hans." Iscariot smiled and stared off as if trying to picture an image of his unborn son. "A strong name, Isk." Robert smiled as he saw the joy in his brother's face. "What of you and Lagertha? Any name?" "Not as of yet. We are waiting for his birth. I want to see his face, look into his eyes, and see what characteristics he may have, so that when we name him, he will be his name. And his name will be him," Robert replied. "So long as he looks like Lagertha, I'm sure his name will be grand. If he looks like you, well, no need to say any more." Iscariot japed, and they both laughed at his remark.